Alright everybody, so today I'm going to take you through how I go about putting binding or routing for binding on a guitar body. The guitar body that we're going to be working on is this tele body. So we're going to do double binding on this guy. For an example, here's what we're going to try and achieve. This is another one of my guitars. The binding came out really nice on it. That's the look we're going for. We're going to be using this cream binding from StewMac. We're also going to be using binding tape from StewMac. I just got this new binding router bit from StewMac, and we have our bearing as well. The proper size is really important when it comes to bearing, and when it comes to setting it up, we're going to have to take this piece off, and it comes with a nice little Allen wrench for doing that. Just pops right off like that. Whoop. This will be the exact thickness of the actual binding. So it's only going to take off that much around the edge. For this, I'm going to set my depth at 1/4 of an inch. And as you can see, as we set our depth right here, we're setting it literally at 1/4 of an inch on our router bit. Alright, so now you can see we are routed for binding. Pretty quick, simple, easy way to route for guitar binding. Double binding, it's gonna look really good, I hope. One thing I didn't show and didn't mention was that I had already filled, sanded, and everything, this body, this tele body, and the edges were very rounded. So they were too rounded once I cut the channel for the binding to use at that point. There's too much of a slope. So what I had to do is I had to basically take the edges of the guitar back down and make it flat and flush. So that way when I put my binding on, it was also flush right here on the edge. There wasn't like a curving lip and then went straight to the binding. Just so you know, it's so much easier to prepare your tape ahead of time because I've made the mistake of not doing that, and this glue dries so fast. So I went ahead and prepared quite a bit just for that top portion. We're definitely going to use it all. Let's do it. And when we're doing this, helps to come up from the bottom and pull towards the guitar. One thing I didn't do that I sometimes usually do, you can use a heat gun or a blow dryer to warm the plastic binding, which makes it way more pliable and easy to bend. So when you're coming around like the horn of a guitar, you'll be able to bend it much easier and it'll just kind of bend into place just to make life way easier. Alright, so we did our binding yesterday. It's been about 24 hours. We took all the tape off. We got a lot of glue and a lot of work to do on this guy. I'm gonna sand everything down and get this binding, scrape it till it's flush. We're gonna grain fill any extra open spots. Like right here, you can see where we had some chip out. I used way too much glue by not brushing it on. Take note of that. But after all is said and done, it's gonna look pretty good overall. This binding's gonna be sweet. It'll be a nice addition to this guitar. So here you have it. This is a fully finished binding wise guitar. You can see I went along and grain filled some spots with some grain filler, which I'm going to sand off later, and then I'm going to go back over with a primer filler coat before we start the color coats. So you can see this is how it turned out. It's not too shabby. pretty good. So that's it for binding. Let me know if you guys have any questions, put them below in the comments, and I'll try to answer you the best I can. So be sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. But be sure to subscribe to my channel for more guitar related content.